icon, a gentleman, 80 years old, cousin of mine, who seemed to be a little bit like the sheeple back in 1980 when I was beginning to go to work. Took me to work every single day as long as I walked about half a mile down to the restaurant he was waiting at. If it was really bad outside, I would have him pick me up. There wasn't any missing work, like missing school back in those days. In fact, there was never any of that. Usually the school was close enough. So he passed away on the weekend. Always laughing about, yeah, it'll come my day, it'll come my day. But at the end, he lived okay. I don't know about his personal life, but I know about him. Anyways, what I want to talk about, we're going to keep it short. It's the moon, the sun, and the earth. Okay, I'm going to have to take the camera off here and point it down. I'm going to be doing this slowly because I've done it so many times to myself. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, so we're just going to do the equations. Just in letter form, from the regular alphabet, okay? The total for moon, okay, is 43, 13th letter, 15th letter, 15th letter, 14th letter, 13 and 14, 27, M-A-N, man. If I spell man, okay, man becomes 28. Men, okay, will become 32, the doorway. Takes two to get through, right? We control ourselves from the other side and being controlled on this side. So once we go through the reverse of this, 13, 30 creation, 13, 1 and 3 is 4. 1 and 4 is 5. 4 and 5 equals to the number in the sun. Moon, 3 by 19, 1 times 57. The total is 76. 3 and 1 is what it created. Alter current to create this 4, right? Remember, 3 corners become a triangle. The 4th corner becomes a square. Pretty funny, eh? But the 4th corner actually becomes the reaching. We just have to add the corner in, okay? The corner, you add in 2 corners, okay? If you add in 2 corners and run them up the walls and run them up the walls, you have the whole square. These corners come in automatically. It's like a link. Becomes 76. 9 and 7 is 16. Beginning of the light. 5 and 1 is 6. 7 and 9 is 16. 6 and 1. 5, 6, 7, 76. 7 and 9 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7. 5 and 1 is 6, 76. 7 and 6, 13. 7 and 6, 13. 4, 4, 4. Do we want to know about the moon? Area space. Okay, I saw in a movie. They want area space, and that's number 44. Okay, 44 over each other, where this shares. Now we're going to do it backwards. This becomes the 13th letter. It also becomes the 14th letter. This is the 15th letter. It now becomes the 12th, and this is the 14th letter. It now becomes the 13th when we count backwards in the alphabet. 27, 37, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. What number is that? That's right, Mars. When we reverse Mars, we end up with 14. We end up with 26. We end up with 9. And we end up with 7. 8. Is that right? Right. We end up with 8. So this is the 8th letter. This is the 9th letter. This is the 26th letter. So we have 40, 49, and 8. 57. Funny how we reverse the moon to Mars, right? So we're going to count this out and we get this number. Now we run into the sun. The number to the moon becomes CDDC. It becomes a 7 in its own. Why? Because now between these 3 planets, I'm going to remove what repeats because they run over the same guidelines. Imagine if just was geometrical. I would have to put all these letters together. S, right? Then I would put U, SU, and then I would put N, sun. It would create this design over here. So we'd have to consider what this design, have we seen it before? Have you ever seen this design before? Okay, take a look at the Canadian map up near the Baffin, or take a look at the whole Quebec map. There's an empty space and rivers near the Baffin Islands over to the right. You'll see the big ocean. You'll see a man driving a car. His feet will be sticking into the water. I don't have the map here. So anyways, inside this, inside the sun, when we reverse S, you end up with 8. When you reverse U, we end up with 6. Okay, when we reverse N, we end up with 13, 19, 27. 27 and 27, 54 the sun, 3 times 27, 81 Venus. 7 and 2 equals to the 9 birth. We're going to go on and do it quick. 13 and 6 is 19, 27. When we count just these two, A and I, okay, 19 and 21. These are basically all the same in gematria, okay, on the gematria scale. This one over here, the I letter, will reduce. And in Chaldean, it reduces, okay, to number 1. 19 also reduces to number 1, and 1 is number 1. 1, 9, and 9 alone are all 1 and 2 inside Chaldean, okay? And then 1 and 2 is over here, the drag, okay? In the piano, we go A to G, and then A and B again. This one becomes 2. It becomes 1, 12, 21 inside the sun. When we revert the sun to the end and bring it into a single transformation, 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 18 equals 54. 4 times, what equals this? 4 times 20 less 1.5. 4 times 20, this is 18.5 or 185, the spirit of the heaven. It becomes right over here. Creation. 1 and 2 becomes creation this. 54, 27 becomes Venus. 1 and 7 becomes the half-life, becomes 19, and 54 equals to 73. The cubed life, because we live in the cube under this number. 3 and 7, 3 for creation, 7 for the gateway. When we create 6 and 3, 9 birth creation, we have 9, 8, 27. 2 and 3 becomes 45, the fox, BC creation. This is the number to the sun. The total becomes 108, becomes 216. 108 and 108 is 216. 216. 108, okay, plus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 108 and 12. 12 is perfect for the clock. Becomes 120. This is a half of the Mayan cycle. Count 1 to 15, it equals to 120. Add 1 to 20, it equals to 210. That's right. You add on 5 more, you get 90 for the last. For the first 15, you get 40, 40, 40. For the last one, you end up with 90. 120 and 90. 444. In the last one, an Earth equals to number 52. E and A is part of 51 Mars. When you read it backwards, 8 becomes 19. T becomes 7. Z, Y, X, W, U, V, and then T. R becomes 9. A becomes 26. E becomes 22. 22, 48, and 9, 57 to the moon, and 7, 64, 74, 83. 83 is the church. This becomes now from 7 to 11 becomes 711 or 72. Venus gateway, the time route. I call it that because that's how the words come out to numbers to me. Now, when we go to the end over here, 2 times 26, 4 by 13, 1 by 52, we're going in between. We don't need the other numbers. That's the in-between number. And that's the same ratio they calculated in last weekend's horse race. 6, 39, 39 is the sky. We counted backwards, 1 and 2. Okay, this becomes 78. That's the doorway between 7 and 8. Okay, we count up 4 and 1. This is AD. This 3 and 2 coming out of the sun. Okay, it's BC. This one over here is AD. This one over here is calculated for the total inside of the moon. How the numbers calculate the total. 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 2, 2 and 4, 2 and 1. How these compare and what goes on is the same thing that will go on in the numbers. We need the same thing in the numbers. They all go together. So we have 6, 9, 10, 11, 1. 11, 1 and 1 is 2. 2, 3, 3 and 5 is 8, 82, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you carry the 1 is 91. This number, artificial intelligence, also stands for the word spirit. Remember, spirit is inside the alcohol, and sometimes when you laugh or cry, there's an alcohol taste in your lining. There's things inside of us that we're either not told or that say, don't worry about it. The whole thing is, when we start to worry and we start to understand the sergeant that comes in front of our face, we have to understand the reality that goes through the mind and the body. This 7 times 4 is the cycle of the moon. When we total it over here, we're going to do it again. This becomes 19 and 7, 26 and 9. Okay, 35. We don't want to count these. We're just going to mark 35. Becomes 15 and becomes 8. Okay, this becomes 8 and 6. This is 101 because this brings the spirit in with 5. Brings it 101 away from the 7th gate. And I learned this in the game of craps. Now, if we can sit down and just negotiate the numbers. Now, we're going to leave this for the next video. There is one thing I want to mention. In fact, there's a lot of things I want to mention, but we're going to do the ratio. 5, 5, 5. They're all in the 50s. 2, 4, and 7. 7 and 4 is the passage gateway. 4, 2. This one has to pass through these to have any life at all. They're coming in spirit. If we take away all the vowels, this becomes 27. This one becomes 19 and 14, 33. And take away 6 from Earth, and we have 46. East-west, the creation of the red sun. 2 times 14, AD, DNA. 46, 10 equals 1, equals 6, equals 9, 1, 6, 9, 13 times 13, altered current inside of this number. Inside the 1, 4, I make 3 worlds. It's called 1, 4, 7, or if you want to call it 10, 4, 7. We have 5 and 7. Here's the way it goes. For the 5 and 7, we're going to bring it to the 7 world. It's going to be 2, and then it's going to be 0, 9. That is your birth. Why? Because 7 and 9 is 16, 1 and 6 is 7. We come to the half-life. Anytime you get that 9, you come to the half-life. Okay? Then you get to the 5, and then you get the 3. Electric company. Okay? Creation inside Earth with the spirit. We're missing the 1 to create it. Remember, 1 and 2 must come together. They call it the student when you're playing craps. And my cousin who taught me the game of craps, and I learned it quite well, Alan Zaritsky, may he rest in peace, who passed away on the 15th of May. 10 days. The 135th day of the year says ace. Now we go into the last one. 8 and 5 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. 7 and 6. 7 and 6. So we get 3, 6, 9 with 2, 5, 8 inside the cycle of the moon. 15 and 18, 33. Inside the sun, we end up with 2, 5, 8 again. And then we end up with 0, 9 because of the 4. And then we end up with 3. 0, 3 makes 7. And 0, 6, 3, 6, 9 because of the 4. And 2, 5, 8. They become the same. Now inside of this one, we drag again. 2, 5, 8 to bring it to the 7 world. At the same time, -1, -1. To bring your 5 down to a 4. Or +9, -1, +9, artificial intelligence. -1 to +9, you have to add it because they're adding something into us. They didn't take anything away, they backed it up. That's the way I'm seeing it. Then in the bottom one, again, 2, 5, 8 will create 7, 10, and 13, or minus the 1. Okay, minus the 1 means you have to add the 9, which I forgot to mention. That 1 and 9 will come together to bring back the same number of 5. When you're in certain numbers, you will use always 1 and 9. or 0 and 9, always together, depending on what this number is. Okay, now, when we come to the 2 world, we need another 2. We want to bring it to the 7 world, we get an 8, we get 258, 258. 258, 258, 4, 1, 7, created out of Earth and running through Man and Mars. When we have 3, 6, 9 over here, 9 and 2 equals to 11 equals to 2. Do you follow what I'm saying? Now what we're going to do is take the 2 sides. When we bring this to the 7 worlds, we add 2, and over here we add 9. 2 and 9 is our birth. When we bring it to the 10 world, we add 3, we add 5. 5 and 5 is 1, and 1, they both becomes 1. This becomes 1 and 1. This becomes 7 and 7. When we get 8 over here on this side, and then we get 6 on this side to create 13 and 13. This becomes 4, this becomes 4. 714, 714, 714, and 714. These are how the numbers write up, and they end up with 12/21, 33 creation. My friends, the numbers are so perfect. The numbers are so perfect. The relevancy of the moon, the relevancy of the sun, the relevancy of earth and man, and all these things. For who art thou? I am, I am. These are words that were created to repeat, to understand, for somebody to say how come, and why, and what. And in French, quel, quoi, qui. Time has moved on, and we are into the cycle of the easiest understanding and stupidest language in the whole wide world, English. The backwards language upside down, French. The written languages coming out of Russia. The Jewish and the German mix between Jewish language and the German language, and how they say Jew in German. I don't know if it's a J or a G. This is what we came to right now. They say it's silly, don't say that, you're repeating yourself. Meanwhile, all these songs that we ever listen to on the radio is over and over and over again, the same song, the sonata, whatever it is, the musical instruments and the colors they keep repeating over and over in a different way, just to come inside our mind to tell us a story that we break down and cry. These are the truths of the world. Raphael 7286, and I have a lot of work all the time, because every time I find something little and I'm doing something else, I can't do that. And I'm hoping to remember that I write it down on a book and books of books over books and papers and pens, because that's what I do. When you lose something, you don't want to lose what you think you know. In fact, you know that you have a story. And as you go through the story, you build the understanding inside the numbers. You search and you seek for the information out there. And you do as you do, because that's what makes you. Open and do not close your eyes. Understand that when someone speaks, it's only a story and it's their truth. And even if it's the truth of the world and the guaranteed truth, understand it until you see it as your truth. Do not believe anything at all. Only believe yourself. Thank you for watching, and open up the door for the others.